Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
Hey everyone, Sue here at 1A Auto, and today we're going to show you how to change your valve cover gasket on your 07 Mazda 6 2.3 liter. So if you need this part or any other part for your car, click on the link below and head on over to 1aauto.com. Open the hood. The hood release is right here by the driver's knee kick panel, and just pull on it. Safety lock is in the center. I'm just going to put my finger in there and turn it towards the driver's seat. Lift her up. Then you have the hood prop, and the indicators with the arrow. And you just put the hood prop right in. Grab the engine cover, just pull up quickly on it. And it's got 2 mounts there and 2 clips there. You've got 4 coils, 4-cylinder, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to disconnect the electrical connectors at each one by pushing down on the tab and pulling. There's an 8mm socket to remove the coil mounting bolts. And then we have 2 of the plastic covers that go for the cover, engine cover. I'm just going to take a pair of pliers and spin that off. I'm going to line these up so that I know that they go to cylinder 2 and 4 in case I come back later and forget. I like to line my coils up in the sequence I took them off. So you take the mounting bolt out, give it a little twist and pull. Cylinder 2. Now that one is one that had one of the plastic mounts, so just put it with it. 3. Last 4. We've got to take the injector harness off the valve cover studs, so I'm just going to use a pair of needle nose pliers and pull up on it. Now I can move that aside. Disconnect the cam sensor, pushing down the tab, pulling that. I'm going to dismount this harness. Underneath here there's a little tab. So I'm going to pull down on this and slide it out. So I've got to get to this corner bolt for the valve cover. Then we have the sensor over here. Push that tab down, remove it. I've got 2 brackets holding the harness on these studs over here. So if you look down inside these connectors, there's 2 plastic tabs that go like this. So the stud runs in the middle and the tabs are like this. So when you try to pull it up, it locks it. So I'm putting my flat edge screwdriver in there and just pulling the tabs aside. And then prying up at the same time. Now I like to make it really easy for me, so I'm going to just disconnect the tab right there so I have more play to work that harness. I don't like forcing wires to move. So with that disconnected now, I can move back to the emission tube that's mounted in the rear here. You've got the blue tabs, so you're going to push the hose in, squeeze those 2 tabs, and then pull the hose. Push that aside. We have a 10mm nut on the fuel line bracket that has to be removed. It's a 10mm socket, like I said. Break it free. Now the bracket really doesn't want to move, so there's another mounting bolt down here, 10mm socket. And hopefully I get a little bit more freedom out of it. There we go. Now it's cleared. Last thing I'm going to remove is the cam sensor. I don't want to damage it, and I don't want, when I go to clean it, any chemicals on it. Dismount that mounting bolt. It's an 8mm socket. Then you're just going to twist this and pull up at the same time. And there's your cam sensor. I'm going to start from the center and move it out. All the mounting bolts for the valve cover are 8mm socket. And the good thing about this Mazda is the bolts don't come all the way out of the cover, so we don't need to memorize where they go with the studs. We're just going to break them free. See, they don't pull out. Two left. Before prying the valve cover up, I take the dipstick out. And now I can see if I can pry up on it. If not, I get a little pry bar or a flathead screwdriver, and I find a good location to give it a little help along, shall I say. Okay, I'm gonna get this. There you go. Just need a little stronger pry bar. So now I can get this harness out of the way. Pull the valve cover off. To remove the gasket, I'm just going to take my little screwdriver, flathead, pry it in there. Pull the three center ones out first. You can do them in any order. Wow, these are really petrified. I'm having like a Monday on a Friday. I know that if I aim this towards me today, I will hurt myself. There we go. Now that's all out, we can scrape some of the old RTV off the two spots where we're going to have to reapply. And now we're ready to go put this in the tank and clean it. I'm just going to clean the debris off of it, all the grease in our parts washer. So now I'm going to clean the debris off of the cylinder head where the valve cover meets. I'm just using a little flat razor. I'm not digging into the aluminum. If anything, I'll just scrape it like this. And then I'll wipe it. Trying not to get any debris in the head. Now we can see this better. So you're going to reapply RTV in two spots, here and here. That's where the timing chain cover meets the head. And they're both aluminum casings that are split. So the manufacturer wants you to put RTV on there to stop any gap that the rubber gasket might not seal. And it literally is 1/8 of an inch of a dab. Goes without saying, you've got a rubber gasket you're replacing. You do not need to apply RTV all the way around. Even if it was a paper gasket, paper and RTV don't get along. I'm going to soak the rag. I'm going to clean with a little brake clean, parts cleaner. Just bring that all the way around. Get rid of any oils. So I use a little air from the compressor, and I'll blow all the water off, excess water, after I rinsed it from the parts cleaner. So here we have our part from oneaauto.com, and here's the gasket that we took out. They're both pretty much the same. I don't see any difference. The gasket from 1A comes with a nice thick guide points that fit into the valve cover. Each bolt hole is notched out. Same with the centerpieces that go in the middle of the valve cover. If you need this part or any other part for your car, click on the link below and head on over to oneaauto.com. So now I'm going to line up the 3 gaskets in the middle. They has a preformed, and it's cut out for the bolt. And it has these little knurl nudges, that's notcher things that sit right in there tight. Make sure it's nice and flat. The 2 end ones are pretty self-explanatory. One has a bolt. And then we're going to line this one up. Now the outside gasket has 2 notches cut out in the valve cover. 2 notches cut out in the valve cover. So I'm gonna guide, there's one right there, and there's the other one. So let's see if it forms this way. Nope, it goes like this. So I'll line that notch up and then walk it around. Now before I place the valve cover down, don't forget we have to put 2 spots of black RTV, or RTV, sorry. Move my harness out of the way. You got your first spot right here, and your second one in the back. So I'm just going to use a dab in like 3 locations, maybe 4, of the RTV in the cover. You have to do it sometimes, because you have to hold that gasket in. It is highly not recommended to run the RTV all the way around, but this will assure us that it won't fall out. Okay, now as you can see, it sat down. So I want to recheck my locations, make sure there's enough RTV there. Looks good. Let's do it again. Get the harness out of the way. Press it down. Okay. I'm going to take a light and run it around the edge. Make sure my gasket is still sitting, not poked out somewhere. So it looks good. I'm ready to tighten it down. I'm not going to torque it yet, and I'm not going to over tighten it. Usually in most cases, there was no scenario for a torque sequence in this. So I'm going to go from the center out. And I'm just bottoming them out until I get ready to torque it. I'm now going to start from the center out, 84 inch-pounds on the bolts that just have the regular head on them. And I only have one other one, so I'm just going to do it. Now it's 123 inch-pounds. Move from the center. So now I'm going to do the ones with the studs on it, 123 inch-pounds. Now with my valve cover all torqued down, I'm going to start reassembling everything. I'll put my dipstick in first. Remount my cam sensor and just clean it off. That's like a push down and twist it. There we go. Put the cam sensor in and then put the mounting bolt. Just has the 8mm head socket on there. Tighten that down so we don't forget. Now I'm going to move on to the bracket in the back. Holds the fuel rail. Or the fuel lines, shall I say. Pull it up there, slide it over. That's got a 10mm socket size nut. Close that down and don't forget the bolt we took out of the bracket. So we have more flexibility. Put that there. Those are two 10mm sockets, so I'm going to get that. Tighten that up. Do the bracket first. And then snug down the nut. 10mm socket. So now I'm going to reconnect all my connectors. That's the cam sensor. The emission tube goes in the back here. Line up the blue plastic. So the tabs lock in. Reset that. Remember I pulled this harness off of its little mounting bracket. Slide it over. Then we have the make sure all hoses go back in brackets. This is the coil, ignition coil. This harness went around. On top of the stud bolts. So much easier putting those on than taking them off. Double check everything, all my connections are done. So to replace the coils, we're just going to put the new one in, and then put the mounting bolt on. I'll tighten them all at the same time. Get our next one. Do the same. Now it's strongly recommended to always replace all coils at the same time. If you think about it, it's like a light bulb, right? These are electronic. Runs with electricity running through it in a sense. And if one is gone, the other ones are on their way because it goes by hours in time. That's an 8mm socket. We're going to snug them all down. That's an 8mm socket. We'll snug them all down. Now we'll reconnect each coil. Make sure that that clicks down. That's the last thing you want to be doing is go down the road. and have that slide out. That'll be a massive misfire. And let's not forget the 2 mounting adapters for the engine cover. They go on cylinder 2 and 4. I'm just going to use a pair of pliers to snug them down. I'll put the engine cover on. Ready to go down the road.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.